Om Shanti, good morning. Sorry, Ben, we not seem to be getting any sound. Thank you.
Om Shanti, we're not receiving any sound.
Okay, can you hear now? Oh, we won't hear them. Please put it in the text if you can hear, because we can't hear you. Yes, okay, success is our birthright. Good. Victorious soul, another title Baba has given us. So Baba has given us, sorry about that for the sound. Baba has given us many titles. And the question is about keeping those titles alive in our consciousness. And one beautiful yoga bhatti we did, it was during COVID time when we had one of these Zoom sessions, is just to almost like chant your self-respect titles, you know, sit and chant each one and almost like look into Baba's eyes. And as you chant that title, see how Baba sees you. That's the key thing. Because the root of all the vices is really when we lost awareness of who we truly are. When we become body conscious, when we have a distorted idea of ourselves, that's the root of body consciousness. And what body consciousness does, you know, it takes away the soul's own sense of value of itself. That's what it does. And all our reactions to people and situations is because at the heart of it, there's this feeling or this belief that we're stuck with, I'm not good enough. You know, in the world, everything operates on competition. I have to be the best. I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough, so I have to have a facelift. I'm not wealthy enough, so I have to do this, I have to do that. You know, it's always this underlining current of not enough. And what is Baba telling us? He says, you are complete. There's nothing lacking in you. I created you complete. You've just forgotten it. It never loses us. We forget it. And therefore, in Raj Yoga, Baba keeps telling us remembrance, 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 remembrance. Yes, it's remembrance of Baba, but it's also remembrance of who I am. That's the key thing. Madhyachibhav. Yes. My eternal form as a Bindu and my original form as a deity, as a complete being of divinity. So it's the remembrance of that we need to ignite, nurture, cherish, remind ourselves. Make that my awareness. And Baba's today also saying that, why is it that we get distracted, or we get even bored? He said he's using bored today. He's talking to the double foreigners. He never talks about boredom with the Bharatvasis, but with the double foreigners, he talks about boredom. But he's saying, why is it that we get bored or we get, distracted? And it's really that because we don't make him our living companion. Keeping Baba's company in a very real way. Everything that I do, and I feel sometimes it's really about observing whether my relationship with Baba is still like a bhagat, or is my relationship with Baba as a yogi? Because if it is a bhagat, then there's like fixed times when I'm supposed to remember God. Yeah, and I keep asking, and it's like I have to put on my white shawl and the red lights, then only I can remember Baba. It's like the ritual that I get caught up in and the routine that I get caught up in. But he's saying, remember me not only with your head in terms of an understanding of who God is, but he's saying, remember me with your heart. Because when you remember me with your heart, then how can you not remember me? It's like developing this deep connection of support, of sustenance, of companionship, of friendship with Baba. I observe, it happened to me as well, but I observe some of the other sisters who end up living by themselves. And they'll say, Baba, this, Baba, that. It's like they're constantly talking with Baba. and that's it, how we need to, make Baba's presence a real presence in our life, which is important. So Baba starts off this morning's Murli by really giving a very complete definition of what it means to be an angel. And in some ways, yes, that is how Baba sees us. That is Baba's vision of us. That is how Baba sees us. And if we keep this awareness alive, Baba said in a way, and I think this is an important element, that observe the self. And when you see the triggers of body consciousness coming up, because they will always be there. It's not that they will disappear completely. It's when we become karmatit that it's finished completely. But until then, they will always be there. But when you see that trigger, whether it's of anger or fear or whatever, he said, just switch to the self-respect, So instead of saying, why is it coming, trying to figure it out, trying to analyze it, trying to process, I shouldn't feel like this, getting into a guilt trip about it and all of that. Just Notice it and switch. And that's what Baba's saying. And I think that's important because, you know, last week Baba spoke of the divine intellect. And that's the job of the divine intellect, to pick it up and switch it. The iron-aged intellect loves processing. It loves going into the what's and the hows and the ifs and the perhaps and whatever, you know. And we think the more we go into it, the more we're going to overcome it. But the more we go into it, the more we get trapped by it. And that's where Baba's method is different. Recognize, not ignore, recognize. But then ask yourself, what is the self-respect that I need to focus on, rather, to make that my reality rather than this particular trigger of a vice. And vices are not who we are. They are just influences. You know, it's just little baggage we picked up along the way. The dust we picked up as we were traveling. You know, when you're traveling in India, you have a nice clean bath and you get into that train. By the time you come on the other end, you're full of dust. You still look like this, but if you take a tissue and you do this and you realize how much of dust you picked up, you know, then that's it. That's what happens to us as we go on the journey. We pick up the dust. So just to be aware that it's not who we are, it's what we've picked up. So go back to the understanding that Baba has given us of who we really are. So it's like a simple method, isn't it? Be with Baba, keep his company, and just switch to the self-respect. Ask yourself, how does God see me, rather than how do I see myself? And make Baba's vision my vision for myself. So it's the Murli of the 18th of February, 1994. And it's entitled, Finish the Darkness of Body Consciousness by Switching on the Awareness of Your Self-Respect. So where there's soul consciousness, there's natural self-respect. So finish the darkness of body consciousness by switching on the awareness of your self-respect. Today, the Father, the image of immortality, is seeing all the children who are seated on their thrones of immortality. Where's your throne of immortality? It's here. Right? So he's seeing all the children who are seated on their thrones of immortality, wearing crowns of world benefit. The children who have a tilak sparkling in the center of their foreheads. Each one is seated on the throne, is wearing a crown, and has a sparkling tilak. A soul, a dot, is sparkling like a star and visible in the center of the forehead of each one. All of you are also seeing your throne, crown, and tilak. So these are three things, you know, the tilak, the soul consciousness, victory. The throne is also like Baba's heart throne, to be seated, the throne of immortality, your seat of self-respect, and then the crown of world benefit, the crown of holding that responsibility to be Baba's helper. So all three. And the crown then creates fortune. Bab Dada is seeing the whole gathering of those who are wearing a crown, who have a tilak applied, and who are seated on the throne. Compared to the golden-aged royal gathering and the iron-aged royal gathering, this Aloki gathering is so lovely and unique. Nyara or pyara. So the souls who have a right to such a gathering are so lovely and unique. All of you, all of you love your form of being seated on your throne, wearing your crown and having a tilak applied, do you not? When you stabilize yourselves in the stage of being an elevated soul, an immortal image, seated on the throne of immortality, this stage is so elevated. And sometimes we need to pause and need to just tell ourselves, do I realize God is telling me this? It's not just a sentence in some text, but it's Baba looking at the soul and telling the soul this. So when you stabilize yourselves in the stage of being an elevated soul, an immortal image, seated on the throne of immortality, this stage is so elevated. The sparkle of this most elevated stage makes your face into that of an angel. Not an ordinary face, but an angelic face. An angelic face is also so lovely. Everyone loves angels a great deal. Because why? Why do we love angels? Because angels belong to everyone. Angels don't discriminate, They belong to everyone, not just to one or two. An angel is one who has unlimited vision, an unlimited attitude, and an unlimited stage. An angel is a carrier of godly messages to all souls. An angel means one who constantly has the flying stage. An angel means one who connects everyone to the Father. That's lovely. An angel never pulls people to themselves. An angel directs souls to God. Yeah. People don't worship an angel. An angel reminds them of God. That's why Lucifer fell, because he wanted people to worship him rather than pointing to God. That's the story. No? Mm-hmm. So an angel is a carrier of godly messages to all souls. An angel means one who constantly has the flying stage. An angel means one who connects everyone to the one Father. An angel means one who is double light, Once Daddy told me be triple light. I said, okay. So an angel means unshakable light, detached from the body and bodily relations, light. An angel means one who makes everyone similar to the Father through his features and activity. An angel means one who has easily and naturally emerged to reveal his original and eternal sanskaras. An angel means one who has the consciousness of being an instrument, who has a humble nature and elevated good wishes of benevolence for everyone. You are such angels, are you not? Yes, good. Say with this intoxication, what should we say? If I do not become this, then who would? Pick up the challenge, eh? Baba, I would. You have the spiritual intoxication, do you not? Bab Dada is seeing this court of such angels. Simply by stabilizing yourselves in this stage of self-respect, body consciousness automatically finishes. So if I see myself as Baba sees me, as an angel, not just remembering the points, but adopting the consciousness. That's what it is. When I adopt the consciousness of the way God sees me, there's no room for body consciousness then, isn't it? It finishes. So the Father sees the children are making a lot of effort to let go of body consciousness. They let go of one form of body consciousness and another one emerges. They let go of the second form and a third form emerges. However, it is always difficult to let go, but easy to imbibe another form. And that's the key thing. Sometimes we get very focused on and obsessed with what I don't want. I don't like the sanskara. I don't want this. I don't like that, you know. But Baba is saying, instead of focusing your energy on what you don't want, focus your attention on what you do want. Imbibe something new, then the old falls away, you know. So, you know, instead of saying, I don't want to get angry, I don't want to get angry, you know, the more you say that to yourself, you get more irritated, isn't it? But rather say, I am a peaceful soul, or I am a content soul, you know. Then the more you bring that energy in there, automatically the anger goes in a way. So where is my focus? Is my focus on destruction, letting go, or is my focus on creation, what I want to generate inside of me? So therefore, Baba is saying, it is always difficult to let go, but easy to imbibe another form. So Bab Dada says, constantly stabilize yourself in your stage of self-respect. Then where there is self-respect, there cannot be any body consciousness. Do not make effort to let go, but pay attention to stabilizing yourself in your self-respect. At the confluence age, you have attained so much self-respect from the Father, which is the best of all. You do not have to attain it. You have attained it. It's yours. You don't have to make it happen. It's yours. Make a list of your stages of self-respect. It is such a long list. So that's your homework for today, right? Make a list of all your titles of self-respect that you can remember Baba has given. And then for this week at Amrit Vela, you chant the rosary of your titles of self-respect. And then next week, Sunday, we'll see what the result was for each one. Right? Let's experiment. So make a list of your stages of self-respect. It is such a long list throughout the entire cycle. No famous soul would have so much respect or so many titles, whether he is a ruler, an actor, a Dharam Atma, or a Mahatma. So Dharam Atma are the prophet souls, messenger souls, and Mahatma is a great soul. If you were to count their titles, could they be more than your list of self-respect? Bab Dada reminds you of the awareness of your self-respect every morning and stabilizes you in your self-respect. So what's the first title of self-respect Baba gives us every day? Sweet child. Exactly. He says, sweet children. So that's the first title. Jayanti Ben once said, the basis of our self-respect is I am God's child. That's the foundation. Then everything else from there. Each day, keep a new point of self-respect in your awareness. Then in front of your self-respect, body consciousness will run away, just as when darkness is dispelled by light. It takes neither time nor effort. So why do you repeatedly have to make effort to finish body consciousness? Do you not know how to put on the switch of self-respect? No matter how dark, how much a dark cloud may hide the light of the sun, you have an automatic, direct connection of light with the Supreme. You have a direct line, do you not? Is the line clear or is there leakage? Some may have a link, but even then, there is a leakage. A direct line is so powerful. Once I was landing in Cape Town, and the sky was blue, and you could see the top of Lion's Head. And then like a third way down Lion's Head, then it was completely overcast, right? So once you go through that layer of cloud and you land, it's like dark and gloomy and gray, you know? But it was like such a nice awareness that no matter how dark and gray and gloomy the day may appear to be like, just that awareness, beyond the cloud, it's clear blue sky. So, you know, it's like take your awareness above, you know, and it's bright and beautiful. It's not dark and gray and gloomy. So that's it. A direct line is so powerful. Do you have a direct connection or is it indirect? All of you have a direct line, do you not? Have you all received a direct line? Then let alone one cloud, even if there were many clouds, could they create darkness? Om Shanti. Yes. Brother Kadrivel is asking, what is Baba's direct line? 108. That's it, Nats. 108. As soon as you switch on the switch, as soon as you turn on the switch of your consciousness with a direct line, there will be so much light that not only are you in light, but you also become a lighthouse for others. It is like this, is it not? You have experienced this, have you not? However, sometimes you put aside your experiences. You have received the support, but instead of taking the support, you put yourself aside. Does it take effort? Perhaps not always, but sometimes. Do you forget to turn on the switch? In fact, if you still remember the stage of your self-respect, of your being a master, almighty authority, there should be no question of effort at all. The path is not difficult. But instead of going onto the highway, what do? You go onto the small roads, or you even go past your destination, and then you have to make the effort to return. We call it the scenic routes. Ne? Bab Dada constantly seats you in his lap of love and cooperation and takes you towards the destination. So why is it difficult to sit in the lap and reach your destination? You move away from the lap of love and cooperation and are pulled away by other attractions. And so you go on tour elsewhere. You get tired and you even experience having to labor. So what will you do this year? Finish doing hard work and merge yourself in love. Perform every task while absorbed in love. Those who are absorbed in love are not able to see anything else. They are not attracted by anything else. And they say when you're lost in love, it's like you don't see anything else. You know, you're just absorbed in the one that you love and everything that relates to the one that you love. When Uri Ben was in school once, the teacher told her, that's why you wear glasses, eh, Uri? Because they did a poem about how blind love is. Yeah. So Baba's saying, however, sometimes you have, those who are absorbed in love are not able to see anything else. They are not attracted by anything else. So you remain absorbed in love. Is there anyone who says that he doesn't have love for the Father? That he doesn't have love? Is there anyone? All of you have love, do you not? However, sometimes you have love and sometimes you become merged in love. But otherwise, you have the company of the Father in all relationships with your mind and intellect in your stage. You have the Father's company, and the Father is also your companion in your doing service at every moment. So he is with you in your stage and your companion in doing service. So where there is his constant company and he is your companion, what can be difficult? What can be difficult? The praise of the Supreme Soul is that he is the one who makes difficult things easy. Such a father is with you, and he is your companion. So can anything be difficult? In that case, Baba is saying, in that case, why do you make it difficult? According to the time, the father offers himself to the children at all times in all relationships. So stay with him in a way that is appropriate for the time and appropriate for the relationship, and make him your companion. Sometimes you make him your companion with a relationship, and sometimes you put aside the companion. You then say that you feel lonely. Whilst moving along, you feel lonely. What happens when you feel lonely? You experience your elevated life to be an ordinary life. Because when we lose Baba's connection in a way, then it sort of makes the soul lose that feeling of the specialness of Baba's company. So it makes us feel ordinary then. So that's what Baba is saying here. You experience your elevated life to be an ordinary life. You then say that your life has become boring and that you need a change. On the one hand, you please Babdada by saying that you are combined, but can someone who is combined ever be alone? You speak very well about these things. Baba, I am combined. Then 15 to 20 years later, you say that you want to change, that you are alone. Generally, when people want to change, what do they do? When they're bored or when they want to change, what do? They entertain themselves. Okay, what else do they do? You sleep. Okay, what else do you do? And Baba knows all our chara. Look, he's saying. Generally, when people want to change, some would go to sleep on the seashore. Some would turn to entertainment. Some would turn to dance. Some would enjoy themselves in the pleasure of songs. And some would seek the company of a companion. This is what you do, is it not? Do you play these games? Baba's not saying this is what you do. Baba's saying, do you play these games? It's so sweet, no? In the world of games, you go into a garden. You forget that the shore of the ocean of knowledge is here. If you like the ocean, then sit on the shores of the ocean. The Father is the ocean of knowledge. Is the Father not your companion? Do you not enjoy his company? Or do you think, what pleasure can you experience from a point? Father Brahma became avyakt in order to entertain all of you. Here you need to have a companion for all time, do you not? So whenever you experience yourselves to be lonely, so Baba is acknowledging sometimes that happens. So he says, whenever you experience yourselves to be lonely, do not remember the point form at that time. That would be difficult. You would get bored doing that. However, bring into your consciousness the entertaining experiences of the different times of Brahman life. Remember your experiences. Remember, bring the good memories, the positive memories you've had. all of you have a book of entertaining stories and experiences. You read novels when you get bored, do you not? So open the book of your stories and make yourselves busy reading that. Actually, there's a nice book as well of one is of all the dadis and their experiences with Sakar Baba. And there's also another book that was of all the experiences of the double foreigners, you know, some of the seniors double foreigners. And the one book was also of all the blessings that Baba has given the double foreigners as well. So, you know, open up these books and it makes it real in terms of Baba's sustenance. So open the book of your stories and make yourselves busy reading that. Keep a list of your stages of self-respect in front of you. Bring your list of attainments in front of you. Bring into your awareness the unique, practical stories of the Brahman world. Just as you take the support of the newsletters to transform yourselves, in the same way you have seen and heard so much news of the Brahman world from the beginning until now. You also have those newsletters with you. Many people experience restlessness unless they read the papers. Brothers are like that. You also have your papers, so read them. You know music and even how to dance. So continue to dance without getting tired. The greatest entertainment is to become man mana bhava. To experience the sweetness of all relationships is to become man mana bhava. There isn't just the experience of the special three forms of relationship with the Father, but you can also experience the love of all relationships. You remember Baba in all relationships, but what difference is created? One is to remember Baba with your head, just on the basis of knowledge. So we get into the theory of it. You know, we remember Baba like that. The other is to remember him with your heart and to become merged in the love of that relationship. So how do we create that feeling of remembering Baba with the heart? What's your experience of doing that? Mm. 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 So Radha's idea is you create the awareness of Baba's qualities and almost make him human in a sense. Yeah, but imagine that qualities. Yeah, okay. Mm. Right. So you create the awareness of who Baba is, and through that awareness, it creates a feeling of love. How else? Who else? Hmm? So create that awareness that Baba is with you. And you said be confident of that. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. You know, one thing that Nini Verbai once said that I always remember, he said, if you want to create experience, you have to experiment, you know? So it's use Baba. Bring Baba consciously into my activity, being with him, whatever. And it's like when I do that consciously, it opens up the soul for an experience to feel Baba, to feel Baba's energy. And it's that experience then that actually, I think in a way touches the heart, so that my remembrance of Baba is not just the theory of who God is and how wonderful God is, but it's that feeling of a personal God. And I think that's the key thing. We need to really experiment and see what works for each one of us, but move from that understanding and the knowing Baba from a knowledge perspective to really feeling Baba's energy. So that I can remember Baba with the heart. So I have to rely on Baba to create that feeling of Baba's companionship, Baba's support. And my one experience is service. Especially having come young to Baba, you were never qualified for service, right? So you were told, okay, give a talk. Then you say, okay, you said a Haji, but you had no like it's not like you completely skilled for it. But because you said Haji, in a way, it's almost like you really use that connection with Baba, you know? And when you see the magic that happens in that moment, you know it's not you. You know, and that experience of seeing how Baba uses you, that also helps the soul to create that feeling of the realness of God's presence. And so that the remembrance of Baba, it's not just from an understanding, but it's from that practical feeling of Baba's companionship. So we have to learn to use Baba in different ways. Yeah. Once there was it was double foreigners Baba was meeting, and he actually said, use me. Yeah, he said, use me. Yeah. God is the only one that will tell you, use me. No other human being will tell you, use me. So it's that aspect. So the other is to remember him with your heart and to become merged in the love of that relationship. You do half of this and the other half is left out. This is why you are all right for a short time. However, after a short time, because you remember the relationship with your head, when something else comes into your head, your heart changes. And you then forget whatever is in your heart. You then have to make effort. Then what do you say? I remembered Baba. Baba is my companion. Baba is my companion, but the companion didn't fulfill his responsibility. That you did not experience anything. This is because you only remembered him with your head. This is not merging love for him in your heart. When anything enters your head, that also very quickly leaves your head. That's why we have 2 years. It goes in and out. However, once something has merged into your heart, then even if the whole world wishes to remove that from your heart, they are not able to do that. So according to the time, whatever relationship you want at any time, have that connection. For instance, if you need the friend, but you remember the father, you will not experience any pleasure. This is why whenever and whatever experience you need, experience that relationship at that time with love in your heart. And you will then not find it to be laborious, and you will not get bored either. It will be constant entertainment. So what will you do this year? You have to move away from working hard. So every month, simply write, okay. Do not write anything else. From okay, Baba will understand that you have been liberated from working hard. Do not write very long letters. Otherwise, you then say that you wrote a letter, but you did not get a response. It is not that your letter did not arrive. As soon as you begin to write a letter, it appears on the computer even before it is there in the post. In the same way, Bap Dada gives everyone a response by writing such a long letter in every day's Murli. He writes a letter every day. Does anyone else write such a long letter? 3 full pages? So look at your self-respect and see how much love God has for you. It is because God has love that He writes you letters. That is, He gives the response in the Murlis and also gives love and remembrance. And that's also another lovely yukti. You know, at night, you write your question to Baba. When you're filling in your chart, you write your question to Baba and watch the next day's Murli responding to that. That also creates a feeling of the closeness that Baba's listening to me, you know, and you feel how Baba's responding to you then. So that's also another lovely yukti, to create that feeling of God being alive and present in your life. So he gives the response in the Murlis and also gives love and remembrance. If you have any questions or if a problem comes in front of you, you receive a response for it in the Murli. So then do not ever complain that you are not getting a response. However, what you do is good. Whatever enters your heart, to put it in front of the Father means to remove it from your heart. You may do this, but write short letters. At the time when you write a letter, your heart becomes light, does it not? Because you have then given away whatever was in your heart. The next day, listen to the Murli with attention and find the response to the letter you wrote. You do receive a response, do you not? The Father is unlimited, and so He would write an unlimited letter. Would He not? He would not write a short letter. Bap Dada saw that all the double foreign children everywhere are engaged in doing service with deep love. Looking at each one is seen as lovelier than the next. If Baba were to mention names, how many names could he mention? This is why each of you should accept personal congratulations in return for your service. If Baba were to mention names, he would have to create a rosary. But all of the beads of the rosary are in front of Bap Dada. From time to time, the service is becoming unlimited and has total success. At the present time, in the foreign lands, 2 types of service have shown a good result. Many types of service continue all the time, but it has especially become easy to bring special souls from everywhere into connection and relationship through the global book. So this was a time when we did the Global Cooperation for a Better World was done as a project. And after the project was completed and we collected all those visions, we created the Global Vision for a Better World, the book that was created at that point in time. So Baba's making reference to that. For the practical fruit of their service, Bab Dada is giving multi-million-fold congratulations to the children who have given their time and cooperation with a lot of deep love from within their hearts. Together with that, the result of the dialogue and the retreat that took place just now has been the best of all, compared to those that have taken place previously. I think it was around this time that we had a special gathering in Madhuban, and Dr. James Jonah, who was the Deputy Under-Secretary of the UN, had attended that. Congratulations to all of those from the other countries who gave their cooperation. All of you kept a good aim. So there is very good pomp and splendor of these two types of service everywhere. And it will also continue in the future. Bab Dada remembers that previously, let alone VIPs, it was difficult to bring even IPs. It now feels easy, does it not? Or is it difficult? It is easy. This is the instant fruit of service, and you also receive blessings from so many. In whose accounts do the blessings from those who receive a book accumulate? In the accounts of those who become the instruments. Whether you did the service of giving it to someone, or of creating it, or of creating ideas, or of just writing it, all of you receive blessings. So you are receiving so many blessings. Do you receive these blessings? You receive many blessings. Simply receive them. You become busy with your own selves, and so you are not able to receive blessings. All the IPs and VIPs who come relate their experiences to so many. And so the Brahmin souls attain a lot of blessings from those souls. If you simply receive blessings, you can then also become complete. The book has been made very well, and this program is also very good. Now, the special service of the Bharatvasis is to go on a car rally. A car rally of 11 cars of people in the business wing has been organized from Rajkot to Mumbai, in which many types of service are taking place. The result of that is also very good, and in the future too, if even just one soul becomes an instrument, he can awaken the fortune of many others. So the result of the service is also good. Bab Dada is giving congratulations to all of those who are instruments for the service and who are moving forward with zeal and enthusiasm, and to all the Bharatvasi children in all 4 directions, to the cooperative children and the instrument children. Now Baba is saying, what's next? Now make plans for service whereby you just have to labor in name and yet receive greater success. So in this service too, it appears that you have to make little effort and yet receive a great deal of success. It is the same for both types of service taking place in the foreign lands. Acha. To all those from this land and abroad, and those who are moving forward in service with zeal and enthusiasm, to the souls who tirelessly give donations and blessings to others, to the souls everywhere who are absorbed in the love of all relationships with the one Father. To the easy yogi souls who constantly experience everything to be easy, and who make others experience everything to be easy. To the Jivan Mukt souls who easily liberate themselves from body consciousness with their stage of self-respect. To the souls who constantly experience the company of the Father and experience Baba to be their companion. To such close souls, love, remembrance, and namaste from Bapdada. And then the blessing. May you become an embodiment of remembrance and remain happy and intoxicated by keeping the two forms of your beginning and your end in front of you. The difference between Adidev Brahma and the first soul Sri Krishna is shown, and they are also shown together in the same way. Keep both your Brahman form and your deity form in front of you and see how elevated a soul you have been from the beginning to the end. You received your fortune of the kingdom for half the cycle, and then you were a respected and worthy of worship soul for half the cycle. By having this intoxication and happiness, you will become an embodiment of remembrance. So your Anadi form, which is your original form as a deity, ask yourself who you think you were, create that image, and now see your Brahman form. Keep the two together. Slogan. Those who have an abundance of the wealth of knowledge experience being full and complete. So it is the fullness of the wealth of knowledge you will experience being full and complete. And then the Avyak signal for today. The theme for April is quite nice. According to the closeness of time, become an Avyakt angel. So the point for today, experience being detached in everything. In your attitude, vision, and actions. This one is speaking, but is detached and loving in a soul-conscious way. Experience this angelic stage yourself and also give this experience to others. All of you now have to become angels like Father Brahma, who is the companion of all of you in the angelic form, and go to the supreme abode. For this, pay attention to the concentration of the mind. Keep your mind under your orders. So keep that attention and bring it back again and again to where it needs to be. When you see it like wandering off to the scenic route, say, no. We're not going to go on a tour here. We could come back to where we need to be. So I think one of the key things is be light. Don't try and make effort with tension. We have to pay attention, but be light in paying attention. Laugh at your sanskaras, how they try to, trick you, try to convince you, it's like become the observer of your sanskaras watch them and bring them back to where they need to be, because our spiritual life, our attention, our transformation must be natural. Because when it is natural, then it's sustained. Otherwise, we start things and we end off quickly. You can't sustain it when it's not natural. When it feels forced, then we can't sustain it. Okay. So let's take a few minutes of silence and then we share some points. Shanti. So, anyone has what you want to do with today's Murli? Some very nice aspects Baba brought up. Hmm? Mm. Yeah. So it's really experimenting with different relationships with Baba, because every relationship offers me something different. Sometimes I need the friend, someone who understands the heart. Sometimes I need the father so that I can feel safe. Sometimes I need to experience the beloved so I feel special. So we need all experiences, and each, if Baba sometimes used to say that if you're lacking in a relationship with Baba, then you will seek out that in a human relationship. So that's why to have all relationships with Baba, because we need all the different aspects of love to make us feel complete again. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 So involve Baba in my drama, in my everyday thing. Involve Baba. Don't try to do it by yourself, but bring Baba there. Say, Baba, what do you think? Yeah. Make Baba a living experience, so that my remembrance of Baba is just not only through the head. Knowledge is important, but the heart has to feel his presence. Yeah. And also the other aspect Baba brought up, like if you have a challenge, if you have a question, give it to him and then watch how he responds to you through the Murli. That is also a very lovely way of feeling God is listening. I remember as a young little Kumari, before I came to Baba, I would pray. I was quite a good bhagat in a way, and I would pray and wondering, is he listening? But we have the experience of Baba responding to us through the Murli. Yeah. So I must use that. Yeah, yeah. Instead of talking about it to people, talk to it about to Baba and watch him respond to you, you know? Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a lovely point. When Baba is telling us you're a divine and angelic being, trust Baba, believe him. Don't say, oh, it's lovely points, but it applies to only the daddies, not to me. No, 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 no. Baba looks at each one of us and make that list. Make that list of points of self-respect. And for this next week, experiment with it. Take it up at Amrit Vela and play with it during your day. See how it goes. Then next week we'll see what happened. That's it. Yeah. Baba wants us to stay in that stage of self-respect. Like, it's like, can I give myself permission to see myself how God sees me? And in a way, when we don't do that, it's our own arrogance. Because I'm not willing to surrender my own idea of myself and surrendering to God's vision of myself. Yeah, yeah. So it's like allowing myself, giving myself permission and surrendering my own vision of myself to how God sees me. Because why do we resist? We resist because if we allow ourselves to take on the vision that Baba has of us, then there's a responsibility that comes with that vision as well, He's calling me an angel. I must be double light. I must be sweet, whatever. So sometimes I don't want to be like that. So that's why I said, no, 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 Baba, it's for the others. It's not for me. So it's a lack of my self-respect. Yeah. It's a lack of my self-respect. It's easier to feel sorry. It's easier to make excuses rather than to take that accountability, to say. So our journey is about surrender, hey, ultimately. Surrendering to Baba's vision of us, surrendering to that higher self that we are, yeah. And letting go of the control that we think we have because of ego. Ego makes us think we are in control, but we're actually not in control, So it is about learning to surrender to divinity, surrendering to that original vision that Baba has of us. Yeah. Okay. So, Freddie, press the button for us. And if any, the same button, yeah. And so just hold on one second. So those from Zoom, if anybody of you want to share, you can share now, okay?
Shanti, good morning then. I just wanted to share about the aspect of relationships as well. In the soul, when you are in the soul world, there is pretty much a stillness and no personality, and so there is no relationships with anyone in the soul worlds. But when we come down into the drama to play, there's a system of family. And that system of family is to enjoy relationships. And the multitude of relationships makes life much more enjoyable. And so at this point in the drama, when we have to detach from the drama and take only from Baba, it becomes a little bit of a balancing act. Because on one hand, you have to play certain roles. On the other hand, you have to try and dissolve those roles so that you have to let Baba do the role or work with him in some sort of union so that the relationships become purer. And in doing so, the soul becomes elevated. Om Shanti.
Yes, so one of the things I think is important is also recognizing that now in the confluence age, it's like our relationships in that we've had, in the golden age, it was just a pure expression of who we were, but we were not taking pleasure from our relationships. We were just being who we were, divine beings. And then from the copper age onwards, we start taking pleasure from our relationships. And that's what creates the entanglement and Maya, exactly. And so now what's happening in the confluence age, Baba is saying, you have to play all those, but you're taking it from me. And you learn to then give into your relationships. So the challenge for us is not to take the pleasure and the support of the relationship, but play the role. So my taking is from Baba and I play the role. Give what needs to be given, but don't take from there, because that's what creates the hook and that's what creates the sorrow. Hey, Freddie, press the button again. Okay.
Om Shanti, sister. Most of the Murli theme is on self-respect. So in order to respect the self, we have to know who the self is. When Baba's teaching, he teaches us that we are a soul, not a body. So once we become soul consciousness, then we have a connection with him. But when we forget that we are a soul, we lose our awareness of that. That's when we get trapped in the vices. And that's when we feel we're not good enough. Meanwhile, we are complete as a soul, but we feel we're not good enough. And we're trapped in this vicious cycle of thinking we're not good enough. So now the angels come and help us, guide us back to Baba and keep that connection there so that we become aware of at all times that we are a soul. And when we remember Baba, we also remember who we are. So that angels play a big role in the sense that they keep guiding us back, then we're not stuck. And our stone intellect has become divine intellect. The job is to switch every time we drift away into body consciousness and the vices, and have this connection with Baba and all the relationships that we need, so that we don't need anything in the world itself. Thank you, sister.
Okay, Om Shanti. So thank you. Yes, key thing, coming back to who we are. Who we are as a soul, and that's why that's the first lesson. And that is also our last lesson, to really realize who I am and embrace that vision that Baba has of us. Okay, so we'll offer Bhog now. Thank you, everyone.